At the time of recording this video, the NASCAR playoffs are about to kick off at the Darlington Raceway, and with that I figured that I'd sneak my picks for the postseason in at the very last second. Plus, it can be fresh in the mind of everyone when the Southern 500 inevitably blows up my bracket and makes me look like a dumbass. But with that being said, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. The round of 16 starts off at three 750 horsepower tracks. There's the aforementioned Darlington Raceway, and then the short tracks of Richmond Raceway and Bristol Motor Speedway. So, let's look right away. I think there's a couple guys you can get out of the way who have been performing well all year. While there are a lot of people really close in points, there's not as many people close in performance. Kyle Larson, I think, makes it pretty easily. He's been top of the line all year, and as long as he doesn't completely screw it up and piss the bed, I think he'll be good to go. Also, guys like Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, I think the top 8 guys in the bracket, for the most part, should be safe. Yes, I even said Ryan Blaney. Even though these are 3 of his worst tracks, I think that this year the team is solid enough, and I think he has enough bonus points to actually make it past this round. Alright, so who do we have after that? Well, we have 8 drivers left, and that means we have 4 to eliminate. So, let's get into it right here. We have Joey Logano. Well, I think Logano will make the next round. Logano, for the most part, has had a bit of an off year and has been in a skid right now, but to say that he does not know how to get it together for the playoffs is an understatement. This is the guy who really snuck up on the Big 3 in 2018 and took the title away from them. So I think that he will be able to get by. I don't think you can say that about his teammate, Brad Keselowski. Keselowski's in a lame duck year, and while the last time he was involved in a lame duck year when it came to Dodge with Penske, he won the championship, I don't think that he's going to repeat this almost 10 years later. I think Keselowski, even though he is good at these tracks, is going to have problems somewhere that's unforeseen. It just seems like this year, Keselowski can just not piece together either luck or performance, and I don't think either are really going to show up in this first round. Alright, after that we have Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch, I think, will be able to make it to the next round. He's been just solid enough for me to think he can outperform at least 4 people in the playoffs right now. Which 4 they are? Well, we'll get to that in a moment. Plus, he's really good at Bristol, so if his back's against the wall, he very well may win that race. After that, we have Michael McDowell. And in my opinion, the dream season will end. The glass slipper will shatter. I think that McDowell has had a great year for the team and equipment he's had, but if you look at how he's performed, it's went down as the years went on, which makes me think his team is probably reusing a lot of equipment, wearing it down, and in turn getting slower as the season progresses. So I don't see McDowell really upsetting here, but if he does, it will probably be the playoff upset of the century. Alright. After that, we have Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick, I think, is going to make it. He has been somebody who's had a lot of speed and just at times hasn't had the best luck. Well, I think the luck is going to stick with him for the first round. RCR was really fast last year in the playoffs, and Reddick is a lot faster than either Austin Dillon was last year or Austin Dillon has been this year and RCR in general has been. I think he continues to get better and possibly makes a pretty good run into the next round. Well, someone who I don't think makes a good run into the next round is Aric Almirola. Almirola had that dream win coming at New Hampshire, which more than likely saved his career at Stewart-Haas Racing. But even though there's 3 750 tracks, that team is not reliable whatsoever. There's a reason that they were running 29th to 27th in points for most of the regular season. So I think they revert back to form, and he misses the next round. Alright, so we got 2 drivers left, Kevin Harvick and Christopher Bell. Well, I think Kevin Harvick makes it. I think he's just solid enough, just consistent enough to make it, even without the needed bonus point, which means Christopher Bell will be eliminated. Yes, he won in a 750 horsepower track, but that was the Daytona Road Course, a completely different animal from the Darlington Raceway, Richmond Raceway, and Bristol Motor Speedway. So, going into the round of 12, these are your 12 drivers you're going to see still racing for the championship. All right, so the round of 12 is probably the most diverse round when it comes to tracks in the playoffs this year. So you have the 550 1.5 mile track at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Then you have the Roval format of the Charlotte Motor Speedway coming as your road course. And you also have Talladega mixed right in the middle there. So there is really no way you can completely accurately pick this round. I think this is going to be the biggest wild card round of any in the playoffs. And if someone really good is eliminated because of 2 wild card races being in there, I really think that this could really decide the championship. So let's look into it. So I think of any of the people who are in this round, there are 2 for me that stick out as guys who will make it to the next round because they're good at all of these tracks for the most part. Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman. Even though neither has had the type of season so far I think that a lot of fans were hoping they'd have, Elliott has had a very consistent season compared to other regular seasons, and Alex Bowman is great at all of these tracks. I think even if they wreck at one of them, they have a very good chance at winning one of the other 2 races. All right, after that, well, I think their teammate Kyle Larson can build up enough points between Las Vegas and the Roval to not really have to worry too much about Talladega. So I'm going to put him in there. Ryan Blaney is really good at both of these tracks. After getting over the hurdle of the round of 16, I think that he can make it in the next round as well. Martin Truex Jr., I think, will silently slide by, as will Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch, while bad at the Roval, I think can survive Talladega and Las Vegas especially, and could possibly win Las Vegas. So that leaves 6 drivers for 2 spots. And I'll read off who we have here left. Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Joey Logano, Kurt Busch, Tyler Reddick, Kevin Harvick. Well, I'm going to tell you one right away I think is going to get eliminated. I think it's going to be Tyler Reddick. For some reason, it just seems like Reddick is too inconsistent at the super speedways, and somewhere like Talladega really could kill his chances at making it to the round of 8. Also, I think that this will be the round that eliminates Kevin Harvick. Harvick is another driver who just can't get the best luck at the super speedways, and I don't think is going to have the overall speed at either the Roval or Las Vegas to make it to the next round. After that, we have William Byron. I think Byron will be consistent enough to join his other 3 Hendrick Motorsports teammates in making it to the next round. After that, we have Joey Logano. While Logano is good at Talladega, I don't think he gets the job done this time. I think he's going to be one of those freak deals where he just has bad luck in this round, or just the team doesn't show up in this round and he ends up getting eliminated when he really shouldn't. The team, while being able to probably skirt by the round of 16, has not been strong enough in my opinion to make it past the round of 12. This leaves 2 drivers left, Denny Hamlin and Kurt Busch. Well, Kurt Busch is good at Las Vegas. We saw him win there the year before. Denny Hamlin is also good at Las Vegas and is very fast even though he doesn't have any wins. All right, so then we go to Talladega. Kurt Busch is very solid at super speedways, whereas Denny Hamlin is probably the best driver at super speedways. And then we have the Roval. I think the Roval is going to be the deciding factor for the most part if Hamlin doesn't win Talladega. But I think that Denny Hamlin probably could prevail at Talladega, or at least earn enough points being up front to not have to worry about the Roval. So I'm putting Hamlin in the round of 8, and I'm eliminating Kurt Busch. So, heading to the round of 8, these are your 8 drivers who will be competing still for the championship and the opportunity to make the championship 4. Now, the round of 8 is less diverse than the previous round, but there still are some tracks on here that can provide challenges. So you have 2 550 tracks, Texas Motor Speedway and the Kansas Speedway. And then you have a short track at Martinsville being the deciding factor of who makes the final 4. I'm going to say right now, even though I probably made this mistake last year, I think that it won't be repeated again. Kyle Larson will be the first driver to make the Final Four. Whether he wins at Texas, Kansas, or Martinsville, or locks in on points, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to put him in there right now. I think the lowest driver that probably has the lowest chances of making the next round will be William Byron. It's nothing against Byron. His team has been consistent all year, but I think they're a year away from being true championship contenders. The steps he's taken this year, though, are encouraging to say the least, though. So look for Byron to be someone who's in the mix in 2022. All right, so who's the next guy I think will make it? Well, I think it's a guy who really is basically been the fastest guy outside of Larson more often than not, especially at 750 tracks like Martinsville. I'm going to go with Martin Truex Jr. I think that he's going to be the next guy that kind of locks himself in to the Final Four. Now, who do I think will be eliminated? This is going to shock some people, but I think Kyle Busch will falter at one of the 550 tracks, maybe Kansas, even though he won there before, and won't be able to score enough points at Martinsville. So I think he gets eliminated. I think Denny Hamlin's going to choke in the long run. I don't think he's going to make the Final Four, even though he's great at Martinsville. The last guy that I don't think makes it is Chase Elliott, the defending champion. I know this is going to sound weird, but Chase Elliott this year, to me, there's just something missing. Yes, he has run consistently better than most, if not all, of his previous regular seasons, but there's just something of an it factor missing at any track that isn't a road course. There are no road courses in the round of 8, and I don't think he's going to accumulate enough bonus points and playoff points to really skirt by just off of points. I think he could win at any of the tracks, but I don't know if that team overall has the speed to make it. Which means that my last two picks for the Final Four are Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman, and I think I need to explain these. Ryan Blaney, I think, is the easier one to explain. He is good at the last 6 races before the Final Four race at Phoenix. So I don't think that it's too far out of the question if he makes it past the round of 16 for him to possibly win in both rounds and make it on. Plus, he's been the best performing Penske car. He's not a lame duck, and he really is the future of the team in a lot of ways. The one that I think everyone will question me on is Alex Bowman. Now, I want to explain this right now. Last year, aside from Chase Elliott, the man who scored the most points in the playoffs was Alex Bowman. This year, I predicted earlier in the season that this would be his breakout year. He could win up to 3 races, especially in the regular season. He has done that so far. He has outperformed basically any year so far in the regular season that he's ever done. And now, if he does turn it up in the playoffs like I think he could, I think Alex Bowman is a very viable option to make the Final Four. Now with that, I want to give my final prediction. Who wins the championship? And I think that even though Larson has been the best all year, Martin Truex Jr. prevails. Because that Toyota team, Joe Gibbs Racing, and especially just the 19 team in general, has performed extraordinarily well on 750 tracks the last 2 years, and I think that they're going to dial in the setup and beat Larson just by that little bit. And once again, we're all going to be pissed off about the playoffs, and that's just going to be the whole story leading into the offseason. So that's it. That's my pick. Martin Truex Jr., in my opinion, will be the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion. Now, I want to pass this one on to you. Give me your championship driver pick in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel for more NASCAR content, and to those who are members of the channel, thank you so much for all that you do for the channel. It does not go unnoticed. Now, until next time, have a good one.